Hey everybody, it's the sixth Sunday of Easter, and you know it's an exciting time in the year, this liturgical year of the church. We're getting ready for the celebration of Pentecost, the inbreaking of the Spirit in the life of the apostles, and hopefully for you and me, just a greater awareness of the Spirit at work here and now, even in the midst of these days. I want to tell you about a few things that are happening here, and I'm going to ask you if you can to really be an evangelizer and to maybe share some of this news with our friends who don't go on social media or Facebook or all that, and make sure you get the word out to them too. First is I want to talk to you about a reason for our hope. You know, if you look behind me, it's 3 years ago this weekend that we mark the tragedy that struck our church building. These were the same readings that we read 3 years ago. And it's that second reading, the letter from St. Peter, that says, always be able to give a reason for your hope. And you know, part of that relates to like a theological, being able to argue about your faith, which is important, but even more for we who gather in these days to remember that our hope is Jesus Christ. And in these days, let's remember how far we have come as a parish community. There are so many reasons for our hope. In the building that I stand in today, and one day that we'll all gather in again, it's a testament to our endurance, our perseverance, our wisdom, our courage, our reverence, our love of the Lord. A lot of those gifts of the Holy Spirit. And so, starting today and for the next 2 weeks, as we get ready for Pentecost, we're going to ask you to kind of tell us about some of the reasons for your hope. Easiest way to do this is read the bulletin. It's on the website, and there are copies here in the back of the church. And email your reason for hope to hope@sjecm.org. If you don't use the computer, if you know someone who wants to be part of this but maybe can't get online, there are some pieces of paper in the back of the church, or you can mail it to the parish office. And our Art and Environment Ministry is going to take that beautiful cross that you've been seeing that hangs in our church and kind of add some pieces to it, some signs of our hope in these days. I want to tell you about some other things that are happening. The first is beginning this weekend, we're going to offer a third Sunday Mass live stream. So we have the Saturday night Mass at 5, we have Sunday at 8, and now we're going to have Sunday night at 5:30. And so every weekend we'll have 3 live stream Masses. It's really a great idea, if you can, to watch the Mass live and to really participate in it. So please make an effort to join us at one of those times. And of course, if you can at one of those times, participate, even if it's a little bit later, in the celebration of the Eucharist. This Thursday, we celebrate the Solemnity of the Ascension. It's not a holy day of obligation this year. That obligation has been lifted, but it's still a holy day. And so we'll have Masses on Wednesday night at 5, Thursday morning at 8, and Thursday night at 5:30. And again, we invite you to pray with us and to enter into that time of prayer for the Ascension. After the Ascension, that Friday, we begin the Novena to the Holy Spirit. And that's the prescribed novena of the church, those 9 days between Ascension and Pentecost. And so there'll be some booklets in the back of the church here, but I'm going to invite you, especially if you're watching this message, to watch online. And members of our parish community will offer the novena to the Holy Spirit each day. If you don't really go online too much, or you know somebody who would really benefit from the novena, we'll have some extra books in the back of the church in the fellowship area and in Seton Chapel. And last, the weekend of May 30th, Pentecost weekend, we're going to have another day of drive-by blessings, if you will, with the Blessed Sacrament and with a special invitation to our communion and confirmation candidates. And we'll tell you more about that in the weeks ahead. I know we're in a time of a lot of change right now, and I ask you to please pay attention, because we're receiving almost daily now new updates about what will be opening up and how we'll be able to maybe gather as a community in the days and the weeks and the months ahead. It's an ongoing, developing situation, and my first goal always is your health and safety. And so we'll go very slow, be very cautious, and be very prepared as things begin to open up, I pray, in these days ahead. So, a lot happening here. Even in the midst of pandemic, even in the midst of a closed church building, the church is alive and well here in Center Merches. And indeed, we have many good reasons for our hope.